enough. So I am absolutely thrilled to be chatting today to Amanda, or A J Campbell, which is your writing name. I'm wading through Leave Well Alone at the moment, and as we were just saying before we started recording, I have no idea where it's going. So I'm super thrilled to have you as my podcast guest. So I'm going to hand over to you now, Amanda, so you can tell us a little bit about who you are and your books that you write.
Sure. Hi. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Kat. It's it's a pleasure to be here and to be on your new podcast. My name's Amanda Campbell. I am an author from Stansted in Essex, and I write in the psychological suspense genre. I self-published my debut novel last August. It's called Leave Well Alone, which went on to become an Amazon bestseller.
Yeah.
And I'm launching my second book, which is a standalone novel, but it features some of the characters from Leave Well Alone. And that's coming out on the 17th of April.
Oh, wow, that's not far away.
It's not, and the days are going really quickly.
It does. Once you get that publication date, everything just seems to fly, doesn't it? It just goes so quick.
And today I actually got Wednesday this week I got the first draft of the cover through. So I've been tweaking that with the designer the last few days, and we've got the final version.
Oh my God.
Literally an hour ago. So that's so exciting.
That really is. It's like you see your work come to life then, don't you? Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it happened with with Leave Well Alone. I worked on the cover with a designer, a professional designer, but she wasn't a book cover designer.
Right.
And we went backwards and forwards for 6 months, and I never felt it was good. It was good, but it didn't pop for me. And so I decided to engage the services of a professional cover designer, and I gave him the synopsis, and within 2 days he came back with the cover that really is what stayed.
I've got it here on my Kindle. I don't know if you've got a hard copy there, but the cover really stands out. It's so effective, so effective. I'm like I say, I'm about 60% of the way through it, and it's got me on the edge of my seat. I cannot see where it's going. I really can't. So I've got so many questions. Don't want to give any spoilers away, and I don't want you to ruin the end for me. But I've got so many questions. But just talking about covers, I know covers are so important to any author, but I think when you're self-published, independent, it's even more important because you have to stand out from the crowd, don't you? Yeah, I mean, and readers are looking for that professional finish because that's what's going to get them to buy, isn't it, at the end?
Yeah, it's so important. So, and this week, and when you work with a professional cover designer, they know what's trending in your genre, what works, what doesn't work. And again, on Wednesday, he came with 2 ideas. So on Monday he started, although I booked him 6 weeks ago, he said he wouldn't be able to start until beginning mid-Feb. So on Monday he said, okay, I'm starting now, I'm going for some ideas. What do you think to this, that and the other? We had a couple of email exchanges. And on Wednesday, he came through with 2 designs. And I went, whoa, yes, that one. And we've just tweaked it over the last few days, as I said.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so you're right. It is so important to have a professional cover designer.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about Leave Well Alone then. Just kind of set the scene for us.
Sure. So it follows the story of a 21-year-old woman called Eva Mitchell, who is a law student. And she had a troubled past. So she was abandoned. Her father walked out when her mother was pregnant with her, and her mother abandoned her to her and her brother Ben to foster care when she was only 4 years old. So it catches up with Eva when she's 21. She's a law student. She's turned her life around. Everything's going well for her. She's met a nice guy, Jim. He thinks the world of her. He's quite a good catch for Eva. He's got a great job. He's quite wealthy. He's kind. He's a good guy. And then her brother, Ben, turns up. She hasn't seen him for a number of years because he's been traveling. And he says, I've found our mum, who Eva hasn't seen for 17 years. Anyway, she doesn't want to reconnect with her mother. Ben does. And what changes Eva's mind is that she becomes pregnant and she has a baby who has a heart defect. Yeah. And she wants to find out if this is hereditary. So she actually joins her brother, trying to find the rest of her family and reconnecting with her mother, trying to find that forgiveness, to forgive her mother everything that's happened. And the story is told from Eva's point of view and Jim, her husband Jim's point of view.
Right, I was going to ask you about this.
Yeah, so from chapter 3, so Eva's chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 3, Jim's point of view comes in. It's 10 months later. He's in a hotel room in New York in a very bad way. Something bad has happened in the past 10 months. And yeah, I won't say anything further. I don't want to give any spoilers.
I must have just got to the point, that point then, because I've read about the meeting up with the mum and the counselling, and one thing I wanted to ask you about is you do write it from Jim and from Eva's point of view. What made you decide to write it like that?
Okay, so after the first draft, I felt that it needed part of Eva's story telling that wasn't necessarily fast paced, and right. The hook wasn't there. So I brought Jim in to give the reader an idea that what the hell's gone on here. 10 months later, this guy is almost suicidal in a hotel room in New York. What has happened?
Wow. Okay. So I found so far Jim seems to be the kind of the leveling one. He seems to be the one at the moment that's keeping Eva on track. So she's got the idiosyncrasy, but she does the counting an awful lot, and I'm dying to know what the reason for that is. She seems to have this character, something that just refers to as he. Sure. Which brings on panic attacks and things like that. So Jim seems to be the one that's the common sense one. So I'm absolutely desperate to know now what happens. So when you're coming up with the plot lines, do you plan the twist or the narrative beforehand, or is it something that's kind of organic and happens as you're writing the story?
So for Leave Well Alone, I didn't plot at all. It was right. Total, I just wrote, and it's only when I employed an editor that she said, well, we need to structure this. So that was for the first structural edit, and I had to change so many things that when it came to book 2, Don't Come Looking, I plotted that.
Did you?
In detail, and I will never not plot again.
Really?
I mean, you have to be flexible, because sometimes characters take you places or that you would never have thought of in the plotting stage, and you have to go with that. But I had a detailed outline before I started Don't Come Looking, and that took 5 months rather than 5 years.
So I was just going to say, you're on about the same timeline as me, I think, because The Lie She Told took about, well, it was manifesting for about 5 years. Then I wrote a second one in about 6 weeks, and it was completely crap, and I had to throw it away and start again. And then I've written the next one, and it's taken me about 3 or 4 months, but I don't plan. That's my problem, Amanda. I don't plan. So for the third one, I've been desperately trying to plan. And I was going to ask you then, has it made the writing process quicker for you?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Yes. And also, I mean, when I sent the first draft off to the editor for a structural edit, when was that? December last year. She came back and said, well, you know, not a lot needs doing with this structurally. Yeah, so it was a big difference.
Yeah.
The whole process has been a lot quicker. You know, but that's for me. Some people would hate the thought of plotting. I suppose it's what works for.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of have I know how it's going. I always know how it's going to end, and that's about it, really.
So with Don't Come Looking, I knew how it started and I knew how it ended.
Yeah, and that was it.
Yeah, so it was because I would say that Don't Come Looking is has a lot more twists and turns in.
Oh wow! Okay, can you tell us,
a lot more.
Can you share a little bit with us then?
Oh, okay. I could read the blurb out to you.
Oh yeah, please do.
Okay, so Don't Come Looking: a missing man, a desperate friend, a circle of deceit. So it's 8 years on from the dramatic events of Leave Well Alone, and Eva is now a detective constable on the brink of promotion.
Oh.
When her close friend Mark disappears, his wife Sasha is distraught and Eva is baffled. Sasha and Mark were happy, the perfect couple, or so everybody thought. Sasha begs Eva to help her find Mark, but Mark has made an appearance at the police station where Eva works and made a statement. It's on record. When his family reported missing, Mark doesn't want to be found. Eva's torn. She has a professional duty not to get involved, but Sasha and Mark have gone above and beyond over the years to help Eva and her husband Jim through their own troubled times. Ultimately, friendship and loyalty override Eva's professional integrity, and she's compelled to use her skills to delve into Mark's life, even though it means going against Jim's advice and breaking the police code of conduct. As each day passes, the mystery deepens. What was Mark up to? What made him do the things he did in the months leading up to his disappearance? Things so out of character, Eva struggles to tell Sasha about them. And then a disturbing discovery changes everything.
Oh, wow.
So
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm excited to put it out there. So
that sounds amazing. So when's that available? In April?
April the 17th.
April the 17th. Right, okay. Oh, that's, yeah.
I'm having an online book launch party, Kat, if you'd like to join via my Facebook page. It's going to be a Facebook Live, because I did an online book launch party for Leave Well Alone.
Yeah.
It went really well. So I thought, who knows where we're going to be in April with the pandemic. Let's keep it virtual. So Saturday, April the 17th at 5 o'clock.
Oh, I will definitely be there, and I'll put all the links to your Facebook page and to your Amazon account, to your Amazon page and everything in the notes as well. So let's just dive a bit deeper now, Amanda. Tell me how you came to be. Are you writing full time?
I am now, yes.
Okay.
Well, so my husband has a business as well that I help out in, but pretty much I'm writing full time. I mean, you have to when you're self-publishing. Yeah, it's two full-time jobs, isn't it?
Yeah,
the writing and the marketing. So, yeah.
And so, how did that come about then? What were you doing before you became a writer?
So I was an accountant.
Oh, right, okay.
So very different. So I worked in London, And then 15 years ago, I had twins.
Right.
Identical twin boys. They were born prematurely, and we spent 6 weeks. They spent 6 weeks in intensive care, and it was during this time that I started keeping a diary and journaling about what was happening each day.
Yeah.
And I just carried on with that journaling, and then I had this idea for a book.
Yeah.
As the years passed, I had an idea for the book, Leave Well Alone. And I joined the Faber Academy and took several courses, creative writing courses with them.
Right.
And then I had some mentoring with Julia Crouch.
Oh, right. Okay.
Who's the Queen of Domestic Noir.
Yeah.
And so she helped me put a very rough first draft together of Leave Well Alone. So yeah, that's how it started for me.
You wouldn't change it for anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. I love what I do. I love it.
Yeah.
I was saying to because they're long hours.
Yeah.
Being a self-published author, and my son said to me, how do you keep going? I'm like, well, it's the only job I've ever had that I don't clock watch.
Yeah.
It's more a case of, oh no, I've got another hour to go. It's more a case, oh no, I need another 5 hours in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get that. I completely understand that. So do you have a specific routine or ritual then when you sit down to write, or are you very blessed that you can just sit and start writing straight away? Or
no, I'm a mum of 3, a chaotic household. I'm a morning person, so I start 6 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
And I always start my day out with a list of what do I want to achieve, and that usually includes 3 or 4 things carried over from the day before.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only ritual I have, is making that list.
Make a list.
Because every day turns into chaos, it seems. However much I try and structure my day.
So when you're blessed with time to write, how many hours do you sit and write for? Do you kind of commit to 4 or 5 hours, or is it number of words that you write? Or
I'll just keep writing till my brain won't function anymore.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the writing phase, I'd say probably 7 or 8 hours a day I'll write for. But I'm not a fast writer. I'm not one of these people that can churn out 5,000-10,000 words a day. It's a couple of thousand words max, really, for me.
Yeah. I tend to find if I sit down on a good day and I turn out maybe 5,000 words, I can guarantee that 4,000 of them will be binned off the next day. So there's a lot of value to be placed in writing slowly, I think, because I can just empty my head and I think, well, that's a lot of rubbish.
But then everything you write is, I always say, it doesn't matter if you're going to bin stuff. It's all good practice, and good ideas come. That's how ideas come, I find, from just writing.
Yeah, 100%. So we're gonna have some fun now with some questions. You ready?
Oh, okay, go for it.
Okay, which fictional character from your own book or someone else's would you like to invite for tea, and why?
I think it would have to be Miss Marple.
Oh, good one.
I can imagine a good old gas with Miss Marple over afternoon tea, a cup of tea and a slice of Victoria sponge.
Yeah, definitely.
How interesting would that be?
Yeah. If there was a writer's brain you would love to pick for advice, who would it be and why?
Oh, it'd have to be Agatha Christie.
Yes.
I'm a big Agatha Christie fan. And wow, can you imagine just picking her brains?
I think she was so ahead of her time as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know when I've looked in kind of the Kindle charts recently, there's been a massive upsurge. I don't know if it's because of the lockdown or whether people are just going back to basics, but Agatha Christie books seem to be creeping up again in popularity, and I can completely see why. But I do think that she was definitely ahead of her time.
Yeah.
What books did you read as a child?
Oh, Enid Blyton.
No, snap.
Oh, Malory Towers and St. Clair's. Oh,
Yeah.
I read those series. I absolutely loved them. I can see myself sitting on my bed. I must have been about 8 or 9 years old, just with the pile of books by my side and just reading and reading and reading.
Oh.
Yeah, just
yeah, massive Enid Blyton fan. If you were going to give a novice writer some tips, what would they be?
Write every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long for, even if it's just 50 words, 100 words, get into the habit of writing every day.
Yeah.
Even now, even with a busy schedule, I try and write something new every day. What else? Read a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
writers are readers.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment. Yeah, new.
On that note, then, do you think you'd step out of the psychological thriller genre and maybe write a romance or a...
Well, actually, I've got some cozy mysteries.
Have you?
I would love to. Yeah, I'd love to have the time just to. I mean, they're not good enough for publication or anything at the moment, but I'd love to have the time.
Yeah.
To devote to them. So that's on my list.
It's on your to-do list.
On my to-do list. So I wrote a novella for this cozy mystery series, and I dug that out a few weeks ago, and I started to tinker with it. So it's just finding the time, really.
Yeah, it's exciting though. It's good. I think it's good that we're, you kind of always thinking ahead and always planning what's coming up. It keeps us alert.
Absolutely. And I'm currently plotting my 3rd psychological thriller. Right. It's without a title at the moment. Yeah, that's the exciting phase. And I do enjoy the plotting, but I find it quite intense. I have to be in the mood and I have to be totally focused. I don't like anything else going on around me.
Yeah.
Because, getting the plot right, obviously it's so important, but also, and I love it when a plot comes together, that eureka moment, you're like, yes.
Yeah. He's not the killer, he is. Yeah, I had a few of them with book 2. Excellent. What's your favorite book, or what are you reading right now, and what's your favorite book?
What am I? I'm reading I've just finished The Arrangement by Kirsten Modlin.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Kirsten?
Yeah.
Modlin? He's a self-published author of psychological thrillers. So I've just finished her new book, The Arrangement, which was very twisty and turny. Turny and twisty. Turny, is that an even expression?
I don't know. Twisty turny.
Full of twists and turns. And I am now, I have some, I've just finished that one, but I'm also reading 2 arcs
right,
for new self-published authors.
Yeah.
And The Lie She Told is on my Kindle, ready to go.
That's a quick read.
I'm looking forward to it, Kat. I'm really looking forward to it.
I hear it's good. I'm not sure. Doesn't have that bloody bestseller tag yet, unlike yours.
Oh, you'll get there. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Wonderful. So just to recap then, so you've got the next book is coming out on the 17th of April.
Yep.
Which is called again?
Don't Come Looking. Don't Come Looking.
You're doing your Facebook launch on the 17th. Are you doing it actually on the day as well?
Yeah, on April the 17th, 5 o'clock.
Okay, so I'll make sure.
I thought that was a good time to capture the States as well.
But it works out then, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's not too early to have a glass of bubbly to celebrate.
Absolutely, yeah, you've got to have the bubbles, definitely. And So I'll post the links to your Facebook group so people can join you on there. And if they want to find out information about you, Amanda, where do they need to look? What's your website?
So I've got a website, ajcampbellauthor.com.
Right.
I'm also on Instagram, AJ Campbell Author.
Yeah.
And Facebook.
Right.
I do have a Twitter account. I'm not as active on Twitter, but I'm author AJC on Twitter.
Right. I think I follow you. I'll double check. And you've got a book club as well, haven't you?
I have got a book club that I'm currently rebranding.
Right.
It started off very small, just I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest. I just set up this book club, and it's grown, and it's doing, you know, we've got 400 odd members now. Brilliant. And yeah, I'm just about to rename it.
Oh, okay.
So I can't give too much away. Because
you'd have to come back on when it's relaunched, and we can have a chat about it, and we can tell people more details then. Yeah, definitely. And we'll keep an eye out for your cover reveal then, as it's now all as it's now all sorted. I'm excited about that. When do you think that'll be? Will it be next week or?
Yeah, early next week.
Excellent, good stuff, Brill. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you, as I knew I would. My weekend is taken up with finishing Leave Well Alone, and I can't wait for your next book to come out. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me, Kat. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to speak to you.
No problem at all. Take care.
Okay, bye.